Hello everybody, Minus here from Pantheon Plus, and today I wanted to take a moment to put together a video to welcome in the new discoverers of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Over the course of the project, a lot has changed, evolved, and many large events have impacted its overall development. With the newsletter, media, and various videos out there, sometimes it can be hard to answer the simple questions of where the game is at and what it is looking like today. It is my hopes that in this video I'll answer some of those questions and explain just what Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is all about. Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is an upcoming crowd-funded MMORPG by independent developer Visionary Realms. This is a smaller team of hardworking individuals, many of whom are developing their first MMORPG, but have had experience across the developmental landscape. Many of them wear multiple hats and all pitch in on various production pieces of the game. It is important for you to know a few members of the community of this scrappy team. So first, let's begin with the faces of Pantheon, the members the community knows closely. Chris Joppa Perkins is the lead designer and creative director for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Chris takes the lead of the creative vision and is the most well-known front-facing figure of the Visionary Realms team. He oversees the team's overall vision while the team works together to make this vision a shared reality. Ben McHale-Dean is the director of communication and project producer for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Ben is well known to the community due to his production of text-based newsletters and his part in Pantheon's monthly live development streams. David Ronick-Schlau is one of the team members who puts a lot of smiles on people's faces. As the marketing art design lead, as well as senior content creator, his good spirits on developer live streams and always being willing to put himself out there for a laugh is just one side of what he brings to the table. He's also extremely dedicated to producing content in all forms for the community to consume, including a full rework of the Pantheon website, which many had been asking for some time. Now, with the well-known faces out of the way, let's talk about the key behind-the-scene members of the team that have a very large impact on Pantheon's development in key categories. First up is Kyle Olson, who is the lead programmer for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Kyle comes from an extraordinary background in programming and brings his expertise to the Visionary Realms team in a big way. While introduced to the community back in April 2019, Kyle has been working on Pantheon for longer than that and is a huge reason why Pantheon's current development state is where it is. His ability to organize and develop efficient coding is something that will keep Pantheon in a strong state for future growth well past its release. Jimmy Torque Lane is an absolutely incredible environmental artist and is hugely responsible for the look and feel of Pantheon's world. When you see the Pantheon style, which makes it distinct and feel alive, that's Jimmy's work. And last but not least, let's talk about Justin Estolame Gerhardt. He is the master and creator of all things lore and the story of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. It is amazing to listen to Justin speak because his mind lives within the details of the planet Terminus. He has done an amazing job fleshing out this fantasy world and adding a depth not often seen in a new IP like Pantheon. While there are more talented individuals on this small team, these are the prominent members of the team that have a huge impact and responsibilities for the development of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. In short form, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen takes place on a planet devastated by planar collisions called Terminus. This planet is home of races from various other dying planets in which their pantheons, or gods, relocated their devout followers to Terminus in an attempt to save their lives and continue their existence. This relocation caused many changes to the new inhabitants of Terminus, and of course caused much strife and war as each race attempted to stake its claim on the new land. Pantheon features 9 different races from traditional races like humans, elves, dwarfs, halflings, and ogres to reimagined or newly created races like the Scar, Archai, Darkmere, and the completely reimagined gnomes. If you're a fan of the lore, what's most exciting is how each of the different stories of these races could really be, and how much there is to learn about not only their lives on Terminus, but also on their home planets. While this may sound very sci-fi, make no mistake that Pantheon Rise of the Fallen harkens back to the medieval-style aesthetics similar to that of EverQuest, Vanguard, and more traditional high fantasy MMORPGs, but with its own slight twist. Of course, the core of every MMORPG is the classes that you, the player, are able to identify with. Pantheon features 12 confirmed classes for launch. First, the healers consist of Cleric, Druid, and Shaman. The tanks consist of Dire Lord, Paladin, and Warrior. The DPS classes consist of Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Summoner, and Wizard. And Pantheon looks to bring back the true support role in the Enchanter. To add to the list of confirmed classes, currently unconfirmed for launch are Bard, which will fill a unique support role, and Necromancer, who will fill a selfish-style DPS role with a little control mixed in. Joppa Perkins has stated that he is very dedicated to doing his best to get Bard in at the launch, so that support role is not only limited to one class. However, please note that this still means Bard is unconfirmed at this moment for launch. Pantheon looks to bring back challenge to the MMORPG genre, similar to that in which we experienced with games like EverQuest, before the MMORPG genre became watered down and more of a solo-driven experience. Pantheon touts the phrase, "bring friends," and you'll need to, as a grouping is a core need for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Now, does this mean you can't solo or find solo activities? No, it does not, as Visionary Realms has stated that people will be able to find creative ways to solo when they'd like to. But the core experience and most valuable/efficient way will be to group. This becomes even more apparent with a death penalty system that will give even the most experienced player a moment of reflection before adventuring deep within a dark cave alone. The reason behind this was to try to reignite the social experience that old school MMORPGs held so dear, which has unfortunately deteriorated within the genre as of late. Make no mistake though, Pantheon is far from a reskinned old school MMORPG, and is in fact a modern take on classic elements that many of us grew up on in the MMORPG genre. Pantheon takes all these ideas and merges them with very important immersive components that will truly make it a unique and evolved vision from games of the past. Here's a quick rundown of just some of the unique systems that will be game-defining for Pantheon. First, it will feature a climate system that will affect certain areas of the world of Terminus. These climates will not only have visual effects letting you know of their existence, but important effects on the player as well. This system will create difficult to traverse environments in which a group of adventurers will not only have to plan for, but build out their characters to advance through in order to survive. These climates include things like scorching heat and frigid cold, all of which have major effects on a player's ability to fulfill their role. That said, players will be able to adventure and discover ways to acclimate themselves in these harsh environments in order to fight back against the living, breathing world. It's not just the inhabitants of Terminus that are dangerous, but the world itself will be a hazard to contend with. Atmospheres are similar to climates in that they create areas of danger for the player. However, that's where the comparisons stop. Atmospheres are less of a natural phenomenon and more of a magical force, created by a presence of strong beings or perhaps the gathering of undeath. These atmospheres will challenge players to travel through absolute darkness, in which even light sources will fail to produce the guiding light needed, or perhaps fogs of reflect which will negate and damage casters of magic. While these are only two examples of atmospheres, expect these unnatural phenomena to really push a player's strategy and skill set. To counter these, much like acclimation and climates, some atmospheres will be able to be negated with the use of special artifacts found within the world. These artifacts will be rare and require player dedication to hopefully obtain, but can really change how one will approach these unique situations. Pantheon will also feature a disposition system, which can spawn NPCs with special capabilities, changing how one would engage an area that they may otherwise be familiar with. This could be a variety of things, such as mana crazed, which would cause an enemy to ignore taunt and attack players who possess mana, draining it from them as they attack. It also includes enemies who can see through stealth, or perhaps can alarm other NPCs to join into the fray. What makes this system unique is that what could be a rather easy area to traverse through could be drastically changed when a few of the NPCs in the area spawn with dispositions that would challenge your basic strategy as a party. Climbing in Pantheon is a unique experience unlike anything I've experienced in an MMORPG, and is more akin to games like Assassin's Creed, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Uncharted, or even Tomb Raider. While at first MMORPG fans were weary of introducing climbing into the game as a core component, VR has shown off how incredible this system can be, as a majority of the world is climbable, and this can lead to amazing discovery. The climbing system is a robust one which will grant some classes advantages, like the rogue for example, but also require one to level up their climbing and able to endure longer, more dangerous climbs. Add to that the ability to gain gear for climbing, which can help you climb certain areas, or possibly reduce endurance drain, which would normally accompany climbing. Make no mistake, this allows a truly unique way to adventure within an MMORPG, and one that will truly define the experience. Perhaps one of the most exciting systems is perception. Pantheon will give the player an opportunity to become a keeper. A keeper is essentially a being that can hear and see what a normal being cannot. These voices allow a keeper to discover secrets of the world, from lore to perhaps a secret way to traverse a dangerous dungeon. They are the lifeblood of the history and future of Terminus. What makes this system most intriguing, however, is that players will evolve their perception uniquely of other players through the experiences and decisions they make along the way. This can be tied into faction, enemies killed, bosses toppled, or decisions made in conversations or discovery, and many more things that will define a player's path in becoming a keeper. These many flags check off for better or worse across your adventures, truly creating a very unique experience and story for each and every player. As you travel across the frozen cliffs of Amberfate or the disease-infested Murk, it'll be up to you whether to listen to the voices of Terminus or shrug them off as you journey onward. These are just some of the systems in minimal detail which will take the old-school approach of Pantheon, yet modernize it on a different path than the modern MMORPG has taken. It'll harken back to the days of challenge and socialization, but provide new, unique challenges to make Pantheon feel like it's something we've never experienced before. Pantheon's development has been ongoing in multiple forms for about 5 to 6 years and is currently in an amazing state within its pre-alpha 5 phase. Having undergone a complete reworking of their game code to enhance faster development and a more stable performance, the game feels better than ever and has a very bright future. Make no mistake that while they've had to take a step backwards in refactoring key components of the game, it was the right decision in order to build the game that we all want to play and have supported for many years. You can read more about this process in detail in the link to the October 2020 newsletter in our YouTube description. To be honest, it's what's to be expected of a crowdfunded MMORPG, as this is not a mega studio with unlimited funds, but as stated before, a scrappy team looking to bring their vision to life. In previously mentioned newsletter in October, Ben Dean announced that the game is now ready for rapid implementation of content, assets, and other necessary additions in the course of development, and that Pre-Alpha 5 would contain a few months of testing sessions, more actively than prior, and impactful implementation of content in a short time in between these phases. Currently, the game is in a rapid march towards Alpha, which we here at Pantheon Plus expect to come after Pre-Alpha 5. While it's true that we are not currently aware of how long Pre-Alpha 5 will go, we expect it to be anywhere from a few months to a year at most. But again, that's just our thoughts here at Pantheon Plus. If harkening back to a challenging, social-driven MMORPG is what you've been missing, you can support the development of Pantheon in whichever pledge tier which works for your financial situation. We're never a group that tells people the value of their own money, so we'll leave it for you to decide. Whether you're looking to enter during beta, alpha, or pre-alpha, there are options available to you in multiple tiers to fit into what you're comfortable donating to the development of Pantheon. And trust me when I say, every dollar helps. You can view all the different pledge reward options at the official Pantheon website, pantheonmmo.com/join. We hope this has helped you discover Pantheon in 2020, and we hope that it's a game that excites you as much as it does us here at Pantheon Plus. Until next time.